Hello and welcome back to the Last Place Fantasy Football Podcast. My name's Ethan, joined as always by my co-hosts Ryan Traver and Josh Richter. How we doing tonight, boys?
We're doing great. Week
Doing
one.
great. Oh yeah. I'm so excited. Like this is awesome. Today has just been great. I
Yeah, I'm sure it
loved
was
being able
for
to sit
you.
down and watch a whole afternoon of football. It was awesome. So, to our listeners, as always, please like and subscribe on our YouTube channel and follow us on all of our social media pages: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Last Place FP. This
Do
is
it.
our fantasy week one review.
Recap. Yeah.
Review. We
Yeah.
already did the preview. This is our review of what happened Sunday. It is currently Sunday
And
night.
Thursday.
We are currently, as we're filming this, watching the Cowboys Bucks game.
Or at least
So
some of
we'll
us
be
are.
giving updates
Ooh, someone's
on
upset.
it. Somebody's salty. No,
Peacock
but
is trash.
we're gonna
NFL
be
app is
kind of giving
trash.
you guys. Okay,
NFL fantasy
guys.
app is trash.
We'll never get sponsors now.
Yeah, never get sponsors now. So, Josh, our first game up was our Thursday night game.
Okay. And
Bills
that,
and Rams. What were some standouts to you fantasy wise?
okay, fantasy wise, Josh Allen can still throw 2 picks and have a great game.
But were they his
Is-
fault?
Yep.
One of them wasn't. One of them I'll say was.
The one he threw too hard to McKenzie?
No, not to McKenzie. McKenzie should have had that. It's the one to Jameson Crowder. And I'm like, maybe you could have thrown that a little better.
That's fair.
But that Bills offense is
Yeah.
so set up to where it's like, Josh Allen, you need to be on your A game
Yep.
all the time. And if you go like anything below that, it could be a turnover.
Yep.
I mean, that's the
Yeah.
only like I guess the fragility of that entire Bills offense. But my goodness, that was a one heck of a performance by them.
That was a high energy game on the side of the Bills. The Rams, definitely not. They looked very much off their game.
No.
Did not look like their Super Bowl selves. So it was very weird to see them like that. You know, it may be week one jitters, but I don't know.
I mean, could be rust.
Another-
Because,
Oh yeah, it could be. It could be rust. Stephon
Yeah.
Diggs looked amazing. I think Gabe Davis, coming off of that playoff hype, I think he's the real deal. I think he's the legit number 2 there in New York or in Buffalo.
No, I just think
yeah.
I stand by what I said in the preview that this is just the most talented offense that Josh Allen has seen. And I don't think it's
agree with
Gabe
you.
Davis is legit or like anything. I mean, I just think they have finally give him like Josh Allen everything he needs to win a Super Bowl.
yeah, like literally his running backs are
Sure.
3 deep, with Singletary, Zach Moss, and James Cook.
Yeah,
Your receivers.
it was criminal how little Singletary was used though.
Criminal.
Yeah.
Because he was
Yeah.
by far the best back. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
not
he
even
was the
close.
most efficient, you know. He was definitely the most efficient. His line is 8 and 48, 0 touchdowns. But
Yeah.
I didn't really trust him that much. He wasn't out there on the field very much, to be honest. I don't know what was going on with that, but
I
it
think
seems like
yeah.
that
I think they're
trust
just
that
rotating
Dabble
people.
had with him. Yeah, but it seems like that trust that Double had with them left with him.
Yeah.
So
It could
I
be.
don't know that. I think it's again up in the air. That whole backfield is up in the air again.
I think what the Bills
It could
did
be.
though was they just focused on depth. And I think they said, you know what? I mean, we have our superstar in Josh Allen. We have our superstar receiver in Diggs. But everywhere else, we just need to make sure that they can operate. So literally, your running backs are 3 deep, and then you have like Isaiah McKenzie, Gabe Davis, Jamison Crowder, Khalil Shakir. Like you have 4 good dudes afterwards. Tight end may be the only place where you don't have it, but they just signed Dawson Knox to an extension.
Yeah. Dawson Knox still looked good though. I think he only had like 5 receptions, but he had like 30 yards or 40 yards or something like that.
We kind of knew he wasn't going to be fantasy relevant. I mean, he was already touchdown dependent last year, and it kind of just proved. This year it's going to be the same exact thing. But overall, I kind of want to go to the other side, just because I'm actually after this game, I'm not worried about Stafford's arm anymore or the elbow. Surprising, I'm not worried about it. What I am worried about is a McVay weakness within his offense that has been shown ever since he's been a head coach, and that is the interior O-line. And now that we're getting news of there's some more Rams O-lineman injuries, that's what concerns me. Like the Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, they got hit bad.
Yeah, they got to figure that out if they want to like keep this going, because I think part of the reason why Allen Robinson didn't get like targeted so much was literally the Bills' interior D line was just smoking Stafford like at will.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really think that has to get fixed. I thought Darrell Henderson was all right. Cam Akers, sound the alarm. We're in panic mode if you have them. But I'm not worried about. I'm obviously not worried about Cooper Kupp, but I'm not worried about Allen Robinson either.
Yeah, I mean, I think on my end, like James Cook is going to be a project, so I would be taxi squatting him if you have that available. I think Isaiah McKenzie is going to absorb that Jamison Crowder role completely.
I agree with that
and just kind of phase him out. So I wouldn't be worried about McKenzie only putting up like 11 points in most PPR leagues. I think he's gonna take off a little bit more. Gabe Davis, obviously, he was everything that was hyped up. So I would just keep flexing him. Sure. I wouldn't put him at wide receiver 2. And then Diggs showed that he's still that guy. Regression isn't going to be this season, in my opinion.
Well, last year, like he didn't really have a spike game, but he was consistent. And I think now you're kind of relieved to see that there was a spike game for week 1.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And then I think on the other side of the ball, like, oh, sorry, go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm ready to hit the panic button on Cam Akers, but you can go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just getting to that right now, so that's perfect segue. I mean, like Darrell Akers really quickly.
Yeah, Darrell Henderson got so much work, so much more than Akers. I mean, Akers touched the ball for 3 carries, 3 times.
0 yards.
For 0.
Yep.
0 yards. And I think that he's not even being used. That's like, tough for Cam Akers, people who like drafted him and stashed him last year with his injury. That it seems like a complete waste now.
Well, the bigger issue that I find is the fact that Kyron Williams got hurt on special teams.
Yeah.
So now it's like it's down to Akers or Jake Funk, and it's like, wow, if they really don't like Akers, are we really about to see Jake Funk go over? Or are they in a situation to go, crap, we have no choice but to use Cam Akers.
To play Akers.
But they've already set the precedent last year. They traded for Sony Michel. So I'm curious to see what happens here. Like, do they trade for like a Mike Davis or something like that?
Or do they trade for somebody who's a proven number 1 back that's currently sitting behind Dalvin Cook?
See, that's and you already have the KOC McVay connection too.
I don't know. Well, with interesting. That, I don't know. I think Darrell Henderson was good enough to let him rock and roll and then worry about a trade mid-season if he gets injured. Because
those Rams backs, they have a lot of injury history. And
and you that's something though that you can worry about when he gets towards that stage. Yeah. Like
of course.
After week 6, I would say you can start thinking about maybe getting a trade just in case to start building up that roster, how they did last year when they picked up like OBJ and Von Miller, all those other guys. But I mean, Darrell Henderson looked phenomenal against a
Yeah,
really good Bills defense.
He looked good.
fantastic,
He looked
honestly. And especially because like that Rams O line was just getting killed. But I think Darrell Henderson looked fine. He like literally how he was playing last year. That's him.
Yeah. He's legit. He's certified.
Yeah, you just gotta hope he can stay up for 17 games.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think you need to panic on
longevity
Stafford.
is.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I don't think they're panicking. You know, knocking the rust off of the off season. I see,
but it wasn't even that. A lot of the picks weren't his fault. Like, it's kind of hard to play quarterback when you're getting sacked or your wide receivers are not bringing in and securing the football and then just letting it bounce out of their hands and get picked off.
Yeah, Van Jefferson just not being there. That team's built for Odell to come back, though. Like, legitimately.
They're going to be fine. I honestly think they're upset candidates for week 2 against the Falcons. Which we'll get to what happened with the Falcons later.
Okay.
Yeah, and very soon.
So let's move on to our next matchup. Eagles at Lions. So this was another Sunday noon game. 38-35 Eagles over Lions. How do you guys feel about that?
It's embarrassing.
I have a lot of things to be excited about. I mean, I have Jalen Hurts in a couple leagues, so that was really nice to see. Yeah. And look, AJ Brown kind of helps quite a lot.
Yeah, he
no joke.
Yeah.
And I just want to say these Jalen Hurts stat lines: 243, no touchdowns, no interceptions, but 17 carries for 90 yards and a touchdown.
So that's big thing.
That's crazy.
The 17 carries, I think, might be a slight outlier. I think eventually down the road that they will probably want to keep it within 10 to 15.
I agree.
At most. But I think you have to be completely thrilled if you're a Jalen Hurts owner and seeing AJ Brown perform. And then knowing Devontae Smith is right around the corner too.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't get too hyped about it because, you know, it's Detroit. They don't have a crazy secondary or anything, but, you know, it is.
They are vastly improved.
Yeah.
I mean, vastly improved, but I mean, the Eagles are built to win right now, especially getting James Bradbury, getting Chauncey Johnson, and that's
no. Now, unless they clean things up on defense, that defense was way too weak against Detroit.
Well, they definitely need some like catching up to speed for sure. But I mean, you just gotta feel encouraged. Miles Sanders was all right. Kenny Gainwell was all right.
Dude, Miles Sanders played. He was good. He's averaging 7.5 yards per carry.
He finally scored.
13.
If we're going to talk about Miles Sanders, I'm going to go off for a minute, okay? Everyone was hating on Miles Sanders. Oh, he's not going to do it. He's not even going to be the starter. It's Kenny Gainwell's season. All this other crap. Listen, everybody was wrong, okay? I mean, even we said it here, Josh. You were wrong. I'm going to call you out for being wrong. Because Miles Sanders was fantastic. And I didn't defend him before, and now I feel bad, and I need to be passionate in defending him because he earned his spot.
Yeah,
and he's going to have a great season.
I'll admit that I'm wrong too in that sense. Like it's
okay because I'm going to be wrong when we bring up the Browns game. So, but go ahead.
Yeah. Well, my issue.
Well, and I also want to say something I was wrong with was AJ Brown. You know, 10 catches for 155. I didn't think that Jalen Hurts had that volume in him.
I did not.
I didn't think he could do it. So
I knew that was coming.
Now I know this is against the Lions. So yeah, their secondary is not great, but I did not see Jalen Hurts as a legitimate dual threat quarterback. I saw him as mainly a run threat and eventually, would pass every once in a while.
He showed up
kind of like a Tyrod Taylor early on in his career. So that's why I was like, but seeing this, it was very encouraging, and honestly, like I see a lot of potential in him. So
yeah, I'm going to be very honest with you guys, and I'll pat myself on the back, but I've been calling this about Jalen Hurts, and the only reason why, like, I I had this
Sirianni.
gut feeling. I mean, part of it is Sirianni and just how they were able to adapt to things. I was like, okay, one, if you're able to adapt like that, that's good. That you can go on the fly. But I just remember him, Jalen Hurts, transferring from Alabama to Oklahoma, and there was a night and day difference between the players.
Yeah.
And that's where I was like, okay, I know that he can improve, and there's probably still a lot of things that he's working on. And so the fact that I saw that improvement made me feel confident. Okay, he can improve in the NFL if he gets good coaching, and it looks like that's the case with Sirianni. But I will admit that I was wrong on Miles Sanders, and I feel bad for jumping off the Miles Sanders bandwagon so soon. That one, I feel bad about.
All right, so on the other side of the ball, DeAndre Swift, 15 carries, 144 yards, and 1 touchdown with 3 catches for 31 yards. Look out there looking like a champ today, looking like a bright spot on a very dull Lions team.
Yeah, he was everything that was promised
amazing.
for this year.
What do you guys? Yeah, exactly.
Literally everything that was promised. Also, Ryan, just want to let you know, Dak just got picked.
Oh,
great.
By Winfield, but literally with Swift, what I love the fact is he is still the focal point, even though they drafted Jameson Williams, even though Hawkinson was coming back, even though Amon-Ra St. Brown is a legitimate figure in this offense. They're still like, oh yeah, Swift. We're just gonna run with Swift.
Basically,
on his stat line was incredible. Like even though he had like 15 carries, but it was a point. It was like 6 carries for over 100 yards or something like that. It was pretty absurd. But that that O-line was the thing that got worked on last year. The O-line and the D-line. And now it's working. And I think Swift is going to be a major player, and to the point where we're looking at it is like that was a steal in the second round.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure.
And then in terms of other things, Amon-Ra, he was a little bit slow getting going, but he looked good. So did DJ Chark, surprisingly, there in the fourth quarter, getting that touchdown when they were making their comeback.
Yeah, they were trying to just kind of catch up, but
they need to get Hawkinson more involved, though. Is my only.
They need to get Hawkinson more involved. I was very encouraged by how they used St. Brown and Chark. You hear a lot during training camp, and that was one of the praises that they had for Chark, was that he had a lot of oomph, he had a lot of go get him, like he wanted to be there. And I think it's showing in his level of play. So I think we just need to see more of that from Hawkinson, and probably more targets. But that's a scheming issue.
Yeah, you also have to remember that Hawkinson's such a big figure in the run game as well.
Yeah,
and so so his value is still there. But I would say the biggest thing that I'm very encouraged about was I think the fantasy football community as a collective was concerned about how Amon-Ra was going to be used, because literally Hawkinson was gone and all the receivers were gone. It was just him. So it's what's going to happen here? And I think today is going to be a good indicator. He's not going to be like the end all be all option like he was during the fantasy playoffs, but man, he is still going to produce.
He's going to be good,
even with all these other people. So I think that's my big takeaway from this game.
Yeah, for sure. I loved watching the Lions play. Like,
maybe
they've been very underwhelming. They've been very underwhelming the last couple of years, and they've been a boring game to watch. And I think seeing Swift take off, seeing Amon-Ra, DJ Chark, and Hawkinson, all of these offensive weapons that they have now, it's encouraging.
And it's only going to get better from here. That as long as they stay healthy, it's only going to get better. And I think that's the big takeaway. Like, the Eagles are a good team, make no mistake. That's why they won the game. But you have to be encouraged that the Lions can actually stay in the fight.
Yeah. I think the NFL's just going to be more competitive this year as a whole.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, very much so. Okay, on to our next matchup.
Speaking of a competitive game.
Browns versus Panthers.
Yeah, it's time for me to be
26
wrong.
24 Browns versus Panthers. It was Baker Mayfield season up in here.
It
He got
was.
235 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. I wasn't very encouraged by how they used CMC.
Yeah, no, that's
He only got 10 carries for 33 yards
Ooh.
and a touchdown. That's good, but
yeah, that's literally what saved the day.
He only got 4 catches for 24 yards. That's not much when it comes to CMC and a very competitive game. They bottled him up. Like, they did not let him do anything.
I think what helps me understand what happened there is the fact that the Browns literally have a running back eraser in Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who can literally go step for step with CMC. And I haven't gotten down like into the weeds of that game because I really want to see how they were able to bottle up CMC. But I would not be surprised if they were like, all right, JOK, get CMC. That's your job. And on top of that, I mean, Carolina's offensive line still isn't the greatest, and the Browns probably have a top 10, top 12 D line with Myles Garrett and others. So I'm needless to say, I'm concerned, but I'm also not surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm upset about DJ Moore.
That's their passing game, their wide receivers.
It just seemed like they couldn't get anything,
Yeah, exactly.
That's been the Achilles heel of this team for so long. It's like you have athletes at this, you have good players at this position. Like we've seen,
it's got to be coaching at this point. Like I don't want to be that guy, but it has to be coaching.
I mean, the problem is they've gone through so many coordinators now. Like at what point does it have to be like there is literally no other options or excuses at this? Like it has to be you.
No joke. And DJ Moore, one of their best talents out on the field, 3 catches for 43. That's unacceptable.
Yeah. Now
he was not used at all.
How many targets did he get?
I think am not aware of that right.
I have it right here.
No clue.
It was 4. So 4 targets.
Okay, so
targets, 4 receptions. 4 targets.
So that's he caught 3 out of 4.
That's my fear. Is like, why are you not targeting him more?
Yeah. It might be a scheme issue. Who knows?
Robbie.
They might not be scheming him open. They're just relying on him using his athletic ability to get open. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wouldn't panic yet though. I mean, the Browns do have a top defense. So this is kind of a team that's still coming together. Baker, if you're into like a 2 QB premium, I think he's still worth having. I think it'll get better. Robbie Anderson is showing flashes that he might be legit, so that could be something to pay attention to in terms of like flex. I think DJ is going to come back around.
I was going to say, like, is he worthy of a waiver pickup? And would he be a flex consideration next week?
It really depends on who they play next week. Because I think I still need to see more rhythm from this offense before I start considering Robbie Anderson. Because the big thing is he got that 75-yard touchdown. Like as much as his his point total was like, oh hey, that's a pretty good game. It's like it was one big play and then everything else was just I think we're not going to see the full strength of this team probably until like week 5 or 6 because Baker was traded in the middle of training camp.
Yeah.
So that's fair. And so that's where it's like maybe they just need more time. I think that's
they might need a little more time to get synced up almost.
Yeah.
So on the other end of the ball, Nick Chubb is still Nick Chubb.
Yeah, Chubb doing Nick Chubb things.
Let me give flowers really quick.
Yeah.
So I was wrong about Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
But listen. I feel like I had a fair point to say he's pissed at the Browns. Maybe he's not going to come out with fire. No, instead he said, "Listen, I'm going to show you guys what you lost, basically. And he just came out and was efficient. I mean, it wasn't anything crazy, averaging just over 4 yards a carry with a rushing touchdown. And then what was it? Let's see here. 4 receptions, 24 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
That's not anything crazy, but that's another team's going to love
that's just taking advantage of the opportunity given to him.
Yeah, touchdown save the day.
But man, that just brings me to so many questions about what they're going to do to these running backs.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is that they're just loading up on running back because that is the staple of the Browns. So that could just be what it is, where it's like, look, we're going to have so many running backs to a fault.
Yeah.
But it's still Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. I mean, it could be that.
Yeah.
I mean, Jacoby Brissett still. I mean, Jacoby Brissett and Amari Cooper is definitely I don't think even mentioning when it comes for fantasy anymore.
No, yeah, the only one worth mentioning on that Browns wide receiving core has been DPJ. I mean, 6 for 60. Yeah. I mean, that's a decent stat line for a rushing.
I told you it was coming in the offseason.
Yeah.
Did I tell you DPJ?
Oh, no, I fully believed. I fully believe DPJ is coming into his own. But I think once he gets a good quarterback there, I think he'll be even better. So I think he may be a stash.
I think it was Josh who was asking me, like, hey, would you ever consider partying with DPJ? And every time he asked, I told him, dude, there's just absolutely no way. I know it's coming.
But that's just because both Ethan and I saw the same thing. It's like, ooh, DPJ is going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
But I knew it when he was coming out of Michigan. I watched that kid play at Michigan, and I knew I wanted him in fantasy.
Well, can we talk about the fact that, like, how many so it was Nico Collins, DPJ, and Tariq Black. And literally all three of those receivers are good. Unfortunately, Tariq Black, I don't know what happened to him, but at least Nico Collins.
He died. He died, but it's okay.
but that's just a whole nother thing of, like, DPJ is good. That's a 6-round steal. He's going to be super solid. I mean, there's not much else about the game besides Cade York is really talented.
Yeah. Who do we got next round?
Okay, so we've got 49ers 10 versus Bears.
Don't take anything from this game.
Don't take anything from this game. It was a sloppy mess of a game.
Yeah.
They had like 2 inches of water on
the
field.
I'll tell you what you can take away, then we can move on. Debo's
it's
Debo.
Ridiculous.
Brandon Ayuk's going to be solid fantasy this season. And don't overreact on Monty because I think he's going to get a lot better.
Well, I also want to point out Elijah Mitchell is injured.
Yeah,
but may be back in a couple of weeks. I would pick up Jeff Wilson if he's on the waivers.
Yeah, Jeff Wilson season. I mean, get ready for Tyrion Davis-Price, but it's probably going to be Jordan Mason season first.
Yeah. But no, I think it is important. Don't overreact on Monty. I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah, I think he'll be okay. I think Trey Lance will be okay too. Like, good luck trying to throw in there. Like when you're like swimming for a first down, like that's just there's just nothing that could be done.
Yeah, Monty had a really hard game. 17
so did Mooney.
For 26.
Yeah,
but
26 yards on 17
so did
carries.
Mitchell, so did Debo running the ball.
Oh, of course.
You can't make any conclusions.
Well, I mean,
Mitchell Khalil Herbert wasn't that good.
Yeah, but Khalil Herbert was 9 for 45 and 1 touchdown. And Elijah Mitchell was 6 for 41, which, I mean, it's not amazing, but
Monty's more of a power back, so like he's gonna probably go down faster than Herbert.
Of course.
Well, he's trying to go in between, like, power between the tackle and guards, and he's not doing this get out in space, be elusive crap, and you can't do that.
Yeah, and I think the only 2 like really notable wide receivers for the Niners were Debo and Juwan Jennings. And Debo did pretty well.
Which is why I'm saying don't overreact. I thought Ayuk was okay.
There was no notable wide receivers for Chicago, like fantasy relevant wide receivers.
Besides Dante Pettis.
Dante
Pettis.
True.
Pettis season But who do we got next, Brian?
There wasn't really much going on there.
Yeah,
so
not-
Steelers, this was a good game. Steelers 23
Speaking of
versus
some-
Bengals
Speaking of a lot going on,
20. Joe freaking
RIP.
Burrow. 5.
Okay, we're starting with Bengals.
5 turnovers. 5 turnovers in the first half, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know what he smoked before the game, but
There was knocking a lot of rust off of Joey B.
yeah,
And he eventually got going and put up a decent fantasy score, but he had a rough first half.
yeah. Well, I mean, we also have to talk about T. Higgins got knocked out
that was
like
scary.
way early, and then
at the end, that last drive, Tyler Boyd was out.
and Joe
Yeah.
Mixon started limping. Like
Yeah.
literally, we were just like one by one. We were just watching all
The hangover is here.
Yeah, the hangovers
that's-
are real.
Yeah.
We talked about it in the preview of like this is going to be really telling
Yeah.
of like
Mm-hmm.
are they hungover from the Super Bowl? And
Can-
I think
can
that was answered.
Not
yes.
Jamar Chase.
Can I bring something up
No.
though? If we're going to talk about hangover or the fact that I kind of want to bring up the whole they punted the ball with 105 left in overtime. There was 15 seconds on the play clock.
Mhm.
What did we say before in our preview? Something to be on the lookout for, and something I've kind of harped on all season. I have questions about the coaching, and
Yeah.
I think I'm still there. Honestly,
Yeah.
No, and you're
Yeah.
right on that end. Like that's unacceptable, and that's something you got to go back and watch film and be like, all right, we got to grow from this.
the big
Yep.
thing that I am a little bit more concerned about when it comes to the Steelers is 17 points off turnovers, which I'm like, on a normal day, that's okay. But you had 5 turnovers. But what happened about the rest of
Yeah,
that game
Yeah.
should not have been close with how many turnovers there
No.
were.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that
I
should
think
not have been
Trubisky was still getting
Yeah.
settled into that team. Najee did not look great.
I mean,
I'm being
did-
honest.
Yeah, he got
Well,
hurt too.
Najee is expected, if it's what some of the experts say that it is, the injury that he got could be out 5 to 6 weeks,
Mm,
but he could be back
Probably.
as early as 2 weeks. So
gotcha.
Guys,
yeah.
Julio just caught like a 40-yard pass. If anyone's wondering,
Go Brady,
Dang.
go! Throw me a touchdown.
So what I took away from this is Jamar Chase and Joey B. They have the connection.
yeah,
They
it's
have
still
that
there.
connection.
They're a little
It's still
hungover,
there.
but they'll beat off the rust, I think.
Oh, heck
oh
yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
They're going to be fine. But I think Jamar Chase is going to be. I think he's going to be great.
Yes,
He will. He will be.
I think he's. I mean, especially if we're going to talk about, what if T. Higgins doesn't play next week, or what if these injuries or kind of issues like continue? I think we're still going to be in conversation that Jamar Chase may be wide receiver 1, and we'll talk about Jets like soon. but,
Well,
like, that's
I don't
but
think he's
I
going to be
think-
wide receiver 1 with the game that we got to talk about later. But
Yeah, well,
on the other
but
side of the ball,
he's in contention.
No,
is what I'll say.
he's in contention. So Fryermuth
yeah,
Mute.
Freiermuth is
led
legit.
the team.
We've
led the team in targets.
We've been talking about it. We've all been
Until, like,
consensus
the
that
third
Freiermuth is
quarter.
legit, and he showed it the entire NFL today.
Yeah,
Yes.
he did. 5 for 75, 0 touchdowns. But
They'll
there's
get
no
there.
doubt he's
There's
going to be a
reps.
top 10
The
at the
the
very
targets
least.
is the targets
yeah.
is the thing to look at for sure.
It's-
I mean,
But he's going to be a top 10 at the very least. Top
Yes.
10.
Yeah. And even
tight
Deontay was
end.
good too. I think they're just still
That-
figuring out the
dude,
chemistry of that.
they
offense.
are.
that catch was so nice.
Yeah, that one-handed on the side.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
Hit,
yeah. We'll get to the
Jamar
point where we
Chase's
can show
catch
film
was
on the show, but
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Not
So I do have to note there's a surprising lack of work from George Pickens. That
yeah,
Not
I was
surprised.
kind of interested in that a little bit too. Not necessarily
Yeah.
surprised like Josh
Yeah.
said, but interested that they
Mhm.
weren't doing some more scheming for him.
yeah, because they didn't hardly bring him out there. So
But that's
I
where
was
I
just
think.
interested in why, but
But that's also where I go. The preseason hype may have just been hype.
yeah.
Like
But
I
it
think
wasn't
we'll see
hype.
as
Like
time
he
goes
was
on.
legit. He was legit
But-
against other starters.
Yeah, but that's where. But like honestly, that's where I think it is something interesting to look at. But it was also like his opportunity was also with the fact that Deontay Johnson wasn't there half training camp because he was doing a hold in. So that's where it's like, maybe we overblown it, but honestly,
I don't think we overblew it. I think we're just like, oh, he's nice, and if they use him, he'll be kind of nice.
I think we bought into the hype a little bit, but I'm not necessarily downplaying the hype yet.
Yeah.
So, because this is one game.
It's one game, but I still say George Pickens is still going to be a factor in it more in year 2 than in year 1. That's just my thinking on it.
Yeah, and he'll take time to develop, and he's got some things to work on. But
are the two high scoring offenses really 9-3 right now? Come on, can we score some tutties, boys?
So
please.
The next game, Colts 20 versus Texans 20.
Oh my gosh.
What happened?
First tie of the game. What happened to this Colts offense?
This is the game that I was watching.
What happened?
They woke up at the end.
But it took them like 2.5 quarters.
I just think they were a little bit overhyped in terms of like, oh, Matt Ryan is amazing and everything's perfect. We probably should have been questioning things then because it seemed like they just weren't in rhythm yet. I mean, Matt Ryan and Michael Pittman looked phenomenal together. I don't think that was the problem.
They have a great connection.
It was everything else. Because, I mean, Jonathan Taylor's Jonathan Taylor, but it just seemed like they could not catch a break. Like, everything went against that offense. Like, whether it's a bad sack or a missed assignment or just a D lineman jumping up and getting a pick for absolutely no reason. Like, just nothing could go their way. And sometimes that's just how it is in football.
Yep. And I like the trio with Matt Ryan, JT, and Michael Pittman. They worked really well together.
Oh, they're going to be legit.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be legit. Hines was
Hines was good.
Was pleasantly surprising. Coming out of the backfield with 6 catches for 50 yards. That was awesome.
On 6 targets.
I think that's
on 6 targets, exactly.
I think that's very telling because I think they will use Nyheim Hines more, especially because like Paris Campbell always got hurt, and then that also doesn't put as much pressure on Alec Pierce to perform, or Jelani Woods, or Mo Alley.
Or JT. Alec Pierce got thrown in the blender.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So, the other side of the ball, the Texans, another
OJ Howard,
pleasantly surprising result.
Hold on, stop the music. Stop the music.
Go ahead.
Rex Head is back.
Rex Head is back.
Is legit.
I am very surprised.
Me some Rex Head.
So I got a question for you. Are you hitting the panic button on Dameon Pierce?
No.
Okay. Neither am I. I was just a little concerned about how much he was being used as opposed to.
Bad man.
So, I did see a lot of positive in Davis Mills. They may have.
Davis Mills was.
If they have found their guy in the third round, I think that's incredible.
That is awesome because I mean Davis Mills, he looked good at the end of last year. He
showed his immaturity at times, like taking bad sacks and other things, and when they had opportunities to win. But I mean, the connection he has with Brandon Cooks and OJ Howard is going to be, it's going to be cool.
Yeah, I think OJ Howard is a flash in the pan.
It could be because they also have Brevin Jordan.
I don't think that 2 catches for 2 touchdowns. I don't think that's proof that he's legit. No. I think that's a flash in the pan going, oh, he was right there. He was right place, right time.
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
The only way I see him being a realistic option is if Brevin Jordan gets hurt.
A consistent, realistic option.
Yes.
So moving on to our next one.
I mean, we only need to talk about one side at this point.
Yeah,
for this game.
one side.
Is it Jacksonville?
It was the Patriots and Dolphins. Patriots 7, Dolphins 20. This was a one-sided game the entire time. Mac Jones struggled.
But it's everything we said it was going to be in the preview. Like, Miami's going to throw the ball, throw the ball, and throw the ball some more.
And I was discouraged by the Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson debacle. I thought one was going to have a lot more targets, a lot more carries than the other.
Yeah.
I thought it was Ramondre's season, to be honest, and that was just.
And I told you,
maybe I was buying into the hype.
I mean,
but I want to finish on Miami really quick. I mean, Tyreek Hill and Waddle are going to be legit. I want to see Waddle get a little bit more targets. We kind of got lucky with that touchdown before halftime, if I'm going to be honest with you, for all Waddle owners. But
yeah,
I think they're going to clean it up a little bit and keep scheming them, and they're going to be fine.
Yeah. I think they will. They use Tyreek Hill in a crap ton of motions. I think teams are definitely going to key on that, but it's going to be a thing where Mike McDaniel knows he has to scheme for Waddle in order to make this work, and those are really the two options you really have to plan for.
Yeah.
But
and then in terms of Patriots, I got nothing.
It's gonna be bad.
I got nothing. Chase Edmonds Chase Edmonds produced adequately. Not amazing. Didn't get a touchdown, but 12 for 25 and then 4 catches for 40. It's not bad.
Would not use him in standard whatsoever, but half PPR, definitely.
Yeah, half PPR,
take a look at
definitely.
Yeah.
Our next one is another blowout. Good old Ravens and Jets. Ravens 24, Jets 9.
I actually don't want to talk about the Ravens first in this.
Okay,
I want to say one thing.
Talk about Jets. I didn't watch this game, so somebody else who watched it go.
I watched it. The Jets defense is legit. Like legitimately good, to be honest with you. What the Jets game plan is we're going to stop Mark Andrews and we're going to stop the run. If we have to lose to 2 touchdowns to Devin Duvernay and another touchdown to Rashad Bateman, we'll live with that. And that's exactly what happened. But that's pretty much what the game plan was. But I was really impressed with their pass rush. I was really impressed with their run defense. Sauce Gardner is also very legit. Lamar didn't really go to his side whatsoever.
No, I mean, if you look at the stats for Lamar, 6 for 17. When have you seen Lamar Jackson held the 17 yards?
I will say he did. There was not a lot of QB design runs. It was a lot of. It's the most under center I've seen the Ravens in the last 3 years.
That's interesting.
But that's something that they've been trying to install for like 2 seasons now.
Yeah.
Because they needed to kind of diversify those looks and how to get different at them.
Yeah.
I'm very encouraged with the Ravens offense that they can make defenses pay without Mark Andrews, and that they can go to Bateman and Bateman didn't really. There's still some rust that has to get figured out with Bateman and Lamar. But Duvernay looked great.
So finishing up on the Jets really quick, I'm gonna be worried for them if Flacco has to throw the ball 59 times. Just introductory note. I thought he was decent. Like a decent stat line for what I did see of the game. I didn't sit there and watch it. I was busy watching the Falcons, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But
I can tell you, with Ravens defense, the Ravens defense was just downright incredible today. Honestly.
Yeah,
they were flying everywhere. Michael Pierce had an all-pro kind of day in the interior. And Justin Houston, Oweh, and Patrick Queen especially, they just harassed Flacco like it was nobody's business.
Yeah.
So I was really encouraged.
And we're rounding out.
By that. Yeah.
I want to hear your opinion on the running backs because you watched the game. But I think Corey Davis might be sneaky relevant. And we were kind of writing him off. So
Corey Davis is sneaky relevant. I was Elijah Moore. Keep with Elijah Moore.
Mm-hmm.
The whole Michael Carter, Breece Hall issue, they were kind of 50-50. But Michael Carter was getting a lot more passing work. So that's one thing to be mindful of. But it was probably like 60-40 anything. It's not so overblown. I think that transition like middle of the year is still very much in the realm of possibilities.
Yeah.
Because Brees
yeah.
Hall he had a different burst than Michael Carter. Michael Carter just has better vision right now, which is what makes me think that Michael Carter's the reason why.
Well, he
Michael
has
Carter's
NFL
starting.
vision.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm frustrated, but it's fine. I'm okay with being frustrated right now, as long as it ends being something.
If you can find a suitable like band-aid for it right now and just wait till mid-season, I think you're going to reap those benefits. That's personally how I'm feeling about it.
And
Brees Hall's going to be legit.
Yeah, I believe so too. I think there's just a transition period right now. Like, it's happened so many times before it. I mean, Derrick Henry played second fiddle his first year, and then boom, his second year he absolutely destroyed.
Now, who was the running back in front of Derrick Henry?
DeMarco Murray.
Was it Murray?
DeMarco Murray.
It was two people actually. It was DeMarco Murray and one more person.
Was it?
Okay.
It wasn't
I knew
CJ.
It was Murray. I don't know. But I knew when I saw Derrick Henry's stats from high school, I was like, "Holy!"
Who was it, Josh? This is bothering me now.
You want to know who
I should know this. Yeah, I feel like I should know this.
Okay, real quick.
Who is Dion Lewis?
Oh,
yeah, that's right. Okay.
Who is Dion Lewis? Actually, that's a valid question.
Yeah.
The guy before Derrick Henry. Also, the reason why somebody got fired. Anyways,
that's a name I haven't heard in a long, long time.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, rounding off Baltimore really quickly because
Go ahead.
We'll get to Tennessee.
I will tell you.
Round off Baltimore really quick.
I will tell you, it's Kenyon Drake. Like it's 100% Kenyon Drake. Mike Davis
today.
Surprisingly. And so he did not see the field much after that. I will say, out of the hierarchy of things, Kenyon Drake, Justice Hill is one you have to look for. Because he actually got a lot more work than I expected, and then I think then third string is Mike Davis.
Okay,
but yeah, what's up?
But where does JK come in?
Here's the thing. JK he is a mid-season play. He is a perfect trade for candidate. Yes. Week 9, week 10. I think the Ravens O-line has some work to do. They just lost Jawan James for the year. He tore his Achilles, unfortunately. But that's also MetLife takes some souls. Yeah. But Ronnie Stanley's on the
MetLife Stadium.
Yeah. So he's going to be coming up soon, along with I'm trying to think who else.
Gosh, but if there was a deep state for football, Josh would be in it with the Ravens. But talking about receivers, I think Bateman and Duvernay are going to be everything we're hyping them up to be.
Yeah. And Demarcus Robinson got used quite a bit. So it's kind of like, as far as receivers, it's Bateman, Duvernay as your top two. And then kind of splitting the third option was Demarcus Robinson and James Prochet. That's how this game played out. Now, part of the reason that may have been the case is because Nick Boyle was a healthy scratch, and he's usually tight end 2 for the Ravens.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So that's where if you
moving on.
Moving on. That's basically it. Lamar looked great.
Who do we got, Ryan? I don't want Josh.
I've said what I need to say.
We've got Jags 22 versus Commanders 28. The Commanders start
really Jahan Dotson season.
Jahan Dotson, 2 touchdowns off of 3 passes.
Bro, it was only 3 targets. I haven't seen this game, so
it was only 3 catches.
Yeah. Well, no, it's 5 targets, 3 receptions.
5 targets.
Okay, I got.
At least he got
okay, here's my honest question: how many targets did Scary Terry get?
I don't know, but he only caught 4 of them.
He only got 4.
4 Scary Terry targets, 8 for Gibson, and 11 for Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, Curtis Samuel was targeted out.
He was surprisingly efficient for coming off of injury.
All right, sound the alarm on Scary Terry. I'm calling it right now. We got an issue.
I've been saying that for a while. I don't trust him.
Yeah, sound the
trust
alarm.
him. I don't trust
Can we
him
get
at
an
all.
alarm sound effect?
I will figure out how to do it.
We'll throw it in post. We'll throw it in
We'll throw it in
post.
post. Yeah. Oh yeah, don't ever say that. But no, but this has been my issue with Washington since last year, and y'all, I've heard it ad nauseum. It's just, why can't you manufacture touches to get Terry McLaurin involved?
Yep.
Because they need Antonio Gibson to start receiving the ball for no reason.
And they had him on special teams not even a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
And you're giving him like carries.
1.5 weeks to decide, no, that's our guy. You know what? Hold my beer.
I'm so lost on Washington. I am like, I'm legitimately
nothing
lost.
they do makes sense, and that's all you need to know.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But I do see a bright spot.
Here's all you need to know about Washington. Their team mantra is never let them know what your next move is.
Yep. Now, I do see a bright spot on their team. However, it may fade, may go in and out. But Wentz, 313 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions.
I'll be honest,
I think he did really well, but I think it may go in and out. He may waver.
Yeah, because I think this system fits Wentz better than the Colts system. Mm-hmm. And the reason why is the Colts system is we're going to run the ball. Now, when we ask you to make this 20-yard out route, you better make it.
Yeah.
And that's what Matt Ryan's a lot better at doing. Yeah. Wentz needs rhythm. Like, he needs to be, I need those 5-yard passes. I would not be surprised if that was the drive. It was like 5 yards, 5 yards, 7, 3, 1, 23. And it just kind of goes in this like cyclical like movement. So that's really interesting to see, and especially just hearing the passing numbers. I just need to watch the game to see like if I can find anything else about it.
Yeah. So one of the top paid wide receivers, I didn't believe in him. I didn't believe that he was worthy of being
Wait, are we
worthy of having that kind of money to his name for what he does.
Can we finish? Wait, hang on. Let me finish Commanders first, and then I would be more than happy to go there. So I think Gibson really proved this week he is that guy, and I think the only people who don't believe that statement are the Washington Commanders, which is, I don't know.
No, I 100% agree with
it. But that's the only thing I wanted to add before we transition to Jaguars. Now, Mr. Moneybags, go ahead, Ryan.
Yes, Mr. Moneybags, Christian Kirk, 6 for 117 from Lawrence, of all people. I didn't think that Christian Kirk had it in him to do that. I thought
he is the one.
Yeah, he is the one. They paid him, so they better use him. But I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought he was going to end up being, wide receiver 2 or something behind, what's his name? The previous Lion. Oh my God,
okay.
Marvin Jones.
Can I?
Yeah, Marvin
really
Jones.
Quick on the Jaguars.
Yeah, go ahead.
I watched a good part of this game. I have no idea why they were not manufacturing more touches for ETN. ETN was electric this game.
Oh, he was. I saw him run up that sideline. That was absolutely beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. He showed so much speed.
He was averaging 11 yards per carry. Why are we not giving him more? Like, James Robinson is good. But if you don't give James Robinson 30 carries, he's not good anymore. Like, Etienne's a guy where you don't have to do that. Like, I was incredibly disappointed that they didn't give him the bulk of the carries.
Are we going to have another Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard moment with a Doug Peterson coach team? Is this?
That's not even.
I didn't watch
because
the game,
he's better than Jordan Howard. You know.
Now I'm intrigued. Oh, Godwin's out.
But at least it's a hamstring and not his knee.
But
Right.
that's
I'm guessing
I
they're
was
going to
I
put
was
him on a pitch
wondering.
count.
Okay,
and
so I'll take this
pull him.
let me take this from a fantasy perspective because I didn't watch the game. But I was like, okay, you know what? 5 points, like to start off with. I like this. I like this. Let's keep it going. I like this. It was a good start, and then it just stayed there, and I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
And it
To
sounds
who?
like that sounds like I guess ETN's asking the same question.
To what happened to who?
ETN.
Yeah.
Because I'm just taking it from someone who has him on a team, and I didn't watch the game, but I was like, okay, he started off good, disappears out of nowhere, and then only ends up with like 7.5 points.
No, he ended off at 11, but
Yeah.
There might be different scoring for me because I have him.
It's
in a few
different
different
scoring, yeah.
formats. Yeah.
got you.
It's different scoring. We're special.
Yeah. I like our scoring more though.
I do like
get
our
more
scoring
points. You get more points when you do.
I like my
different
shiny
things.
points.
Yes,
Yeah.
I like my shiny
Yeah.
points.
Is that how did Trevor Lawrence look? Just out of curiosity.
The O line is still
275.
coming together.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
O-line.
okay.
He was scrambling for his life a majority of the time.
Yeah.
But 275 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
Okay.
So
He was the little
wasn't
skinny
bad.
kid getting pushed back and forth in that little group of circle of like all the bigger bullies.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Gotcha.
He did. He looked out of place, and he looked like he was.
He was
panicking
sharp
most of the
when he
time.
had time though.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay,
like
that's
that
good to
O
know.
line was letting him get
That's good
yeah.
to know.
I think somebody like him, he needs that time. So I think instead of they have the wide receiver now for him. They have their number one. What they need now is to invest in a line.
Yeah,
They
I mean they
need
did
to
with
go
Cam
out.
Robinson and they have Walker Little, but they there's a few more pieces they have to get.
They need to go out and do what the Bengals did last year.
Or Detroit.
Doesn't matter.
Or
Burrow
the
got sacked
Chargers.
7 times.
I know, but they need to go out and acquire.
But they need that spirit.
They need this. They need the
to
spirit
go out
of investment.
Exactly. They need to go out and actively pursue good veteran.
Because if not, they're going to be the new Seattle Seahawks, and
and they don't want that. They invested a lot in Lawrence, and they believe in him. So
now you better give Goldilocks his offensive line.
Exactly.
That's all that needs to be said.
Yeah. Go give Pretty Boy what he wants.
I think last note is they need to manufacture more for ETN because he's the best player on that team by far.
Yes.
Okay. As long as you guys are saying he's by far and away the best player on the team, that gives me confidence that
by far
they may just be kind of ramping it up for him.
Yeah. By far. So I do have. Let's go ahead and talk about the Saints.
Please no.
Falcons game.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm gonna.
Ethan,
go
I'm
ahead.
to cue the tears.
You can. I was gonna say you can start crying now.
I wish I had sad rain music.
Yeah.
Marcus Mariota looked pretty good.
It's okay. We'll get it in post.
But you know who looked better? Cordero freaking Patterson.
So
those of you who got him at ADP.
Okay, hold on.
Those of you who got him at an ADP of go ahead.
So here's surprising note number 1. Okay, I'm crying on the inside. I'm trying to hold it together here, Ryan.
I don't think you can.
Surprising note: Damian Harris was the starting running back for the game before he got hurt. So that's something to keep your eye on for when he comes back. Or
you mean
when
Damian Williams?
Damian Williams, yeah.
Damian Williams. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, it's been a long day of football. Wow. Lots of names. Damian Williams.
Wow, Pat's running back was starting for the Falcons. That's interesting.
Can I ask a question for you?
Yes.
Is there any reason as to why Algier was a healthy scratch?
I have no idea. I was looking through every forum, every page, it just seems like they didn't want him to play to me, or he had something personal, but they didn't even scratch him for personal reasons. It was just, he's inactive. And then nobody had anything else to say about it. So I don't know.
Do you think he's in the doghouse?
He didn't want him to. No, I don't think it's anything like that. Cause he seems like a good, quiet guy. I I don't know. I honestly have no idea. Hopefully something else comes out this week. They didn't ask about it in the press conference either, which is criminal. And yes, I did listen to that because I'm that kind of a fan. But dude, this offense it looks legit. It's just the only thing that went wrong for this team is a conservative defense down the stretch and
Okay,
a
welcome to
turnover in the
DBs.
red zone that cost them the game.
So
Yeah.
it does it sound like that this team like can't really make a lot of mistakes based on their play style?
I wouldn't say that. I would say they can't make big mistakes like fumbling in the red zone because
Okay,
that's what ultimately cost them the game is Mariota fumbling in the red zone. Other than that,
gotcha.
the
Yeah.
offense looks legit. The play calling was incredible. I mean, we're talking about a top 3 defense who got just taken to school by the Falcons, who is rated as the second worst team in the NFL, but having the worst roster in the NFL. So what I'll say about this team is they have the opposite of the problem they had in the Dan Quinn era, which is it's not that it's coaching to why they can't finish games. I think they didn't finish this game because they're young. I mean, you had Richie Grant and Jalen Hawkins as your starting safety. You have AJ Terrell as your starting corner. Now you do have Casey Hayward, and he didn't play great, but that's whatever. But you're starting Mike linebacker calling your plays is Mikael Walker, and he's 3 years into his career. You have a transplant Rashawn Evans at the other linebacker position. So it's just a really young team that's still coming together, but there's a lot of potential.
And they had quite a few losses.
So-
I mean, they did lose a Foye.
Yeah, they lost Foye. They've lost Dion. Yeah. Go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, I was just gonna say, on the other side of the ball, like, well, actually, no, Drake London looked solid.
He's good. He's legit.
He
He was the
solid.
best of all the rookies in the NFL.
Yeah.
I was worried because of how much time he missed in training camp,
Mhm.
but I'm happy to know that that was
Well,
probably
he
the
was
best
still
one.
working.
I was
He was
just,
still working in camp. It was just different stuff.
I was really just concerned with Pitts. Like the production wasn't there this week. It was not.
This was game planning, though.
Yeah, that's exactly because that's what happened to Mark Andrews too, and I think you
Yeah.
need, especially if you've had all off season to prepare for it, and all off season, what have we said? Kyle Pitts, Kyle Pitts, Kyle
Yeah.
Pitts. I almost said it.
And
If I
everyone
say it
took
two more
notice of
times,
that. And then
Kyle Pitts
they
legitimately
used
shows
that
up.
against the Saints. They really did
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they used him as a decoy, and then we give it to Pitts to Patterson between the tackles, and then he'd run 3 dudes over, and then they'd be like, okay, now we got to focus on Patterson, and it'd be a Mariota keeper that he'd take for a first down. It's like,
But
okay, now we can't let him trick us. And then all of a sudden they're pushing it down the field to Drake London or OZ or Kadriel Hodges. And so they were just schemed it really well. The play calling was on point. They're just young.
Yeah, I think it's a fluke with Pitts. I mean, you just had to get someone.
Well,
off
this
their...
game was a fluke because
Yeah.
Atlanta's a good team. I need everyone to understand that right now. This is not the second worst team in the NFL. The Falcons are a good team. This was a fluke loss because they're young.
And the thing is like I 100% agree with you. It's a young team. They're going to go through some growing pains, but considering what this roster was last year, I think just being in the conversation.
Years.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It was a dumpster fire last week.
The fact that they were embarrassing the Saints and their top 3 defense shows you what kind of team this is.
Yeah.
Now them fumbling it down the stretch, quite literally, shows you their age. But we should move on to the Saints because I can talk about the Falcons all night.
Okay, well, I just want to say one more thing. It's kind of on the Falcons and Saints. The Saints defense had the longest streak of not having a 100-yard rusher until today.
Broken by Patterson. But that's kind of smoke and mirrors. Be careful with that because I'm telling you, when Algier is in the lineup, they prefer him.
Yeah. So, on the other side of the ball, Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, the tandem looks solid.
Olave.
Jarvis,
they look good in the 4th quarter, but that was it.
I mean, Michael Thomas looked good most of the game. I mean, he struggled the first quarter.
Michael Thomas was irrelevant until the end of the third quarter.
But I mean, there's a lot of rust that we kind of knew.
Right.
Michael Thomas literally hasn't played in 2 years. And this.
Yeah, the first half was him getting the rust off, and then he showed up.
But he showed that he's still a great pass catching threat. I mean,
which is good.
After 2 years out of the league.
Yeah. I'd still be concerned with him.
About it. I will say
I'd be concerned with him.
He's still a threat.
Though. Well, I think what's going to be interesting now is because when he had his record-setting year, Drew Brees was starting to lose his arm.
Yeah.
So that's why you kept getting slant after slant after slant after slant. But now that you have Jameis, and Jameis can throw to all levels of the field, I think this is going to be a true test to really see how good Michael Thomas is. Yeah. And I think we'll know that story probably week 4. And just to get an understanding. Yeah. And based on the stats, I was actually kind of impressed with how Olave did too.
Yeah.
Quick thing on the Falcons, they gave up 0 sacks.
That's
I think that's
start.
Well, I mean, it's nice. It's got to be nice having Marcus Mariota in the backfield where he
instead
can
scramble.
Instead of limp leg Matt.
Well, did you not see Matty Wheels today running for his life in the Indy game?
Yeah, and he was terrible.
Well, dude, he had a couple of 10-yard rushes. What do you mean he was terrible?
Yeah, exactly.
He was elusive. Matt Ryan is the definition of elusive. Okay.
He was elusive, as in skinny. That's the only thing that kept him.
Yeah, he's the greased up deaf guy. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Matt Ryan.
No, but also surprising.
Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry did really well. Led the Saints in receptions and yards. I was really surprised
talk about
by him.
Targets?
He's really cool. Yeah, and targets.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Are we panic button on Kamara?
I was just going to bring him up.
Yeah.
I would like to.
I don't think I go that far yet. I think Atlanta just played him really well, and that was their focus. And so I think it's just going to be different. We're going to need more of a sample size, I would say, before you panic on Kamara.
Yeah.
Because he still looked decent, but they were targeting him heavily.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay. So our next
the D line just looked light years better than they have since they've had John Abraham. I mean, they had 4 sacks. Wow. They're getting TFLs all over the place. They were destroying gaps against, again, a legitimate offensive. The Falcons might be scary this season if they can get their age in order.
They're definitely going to be a fighter for sure.
They're going to be scrappy.
I'm not saying Super Bowl contenders. I'm not saying championship contenders, but I'm saying maybe a dark horse for a wild card.
Maybe. Dark, very, very dark horse. But
midnight.
They're going to be scrappy. That's what I'm looking forward to.
That might be the perfect way to describe the New York Giants as well.
Yeah, the Giants as well. They're scrappy.
I mean, I can't wait to start talking about that game.
Let's do it. Let's do it right now. Giants 21.
I want to say one last thing on the Falcons. And, I want to go into that, but I want to say one more thing on the Falcons.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
Giants 21, Tennessee 20. It's okay. No. It's all right. All right. It's all right. New York. I don't want to get on a rabbit hole with the Falcons because I will.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So Giants 21 versus Titans 20.
Welcome back, Saquon Barkley.
Welcome back. 18 touches, 164 yards, 1 touchdown.
The Dabble effect, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved seeing him so explosive. It was like we had rookie Saquon again.
Yeah.
It was unlike the last couple of years with him. I'm so excited to see him back out there. And
literally giving
Daniel
him
Jones looked service.
There's only one issue I have with the Giants right now, and that is I have no idea what's happening with Kadarius Toney. But he may have to get used now since Wandale's hurt.
That's why they got Wandale.
So
Yeah.
So that's where it gets interesting. But I am incredibly happy that Saquon is back into the fray as a fantasy option.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sterling Shepard out of nowhere.
Shepard. Yeah, Sterling Shepard. Daniel Jones performed adequately. It wasn't a great performance
decent
by him.
Yeah, he
17 for 21.
Yeah,
probably the best.
It wasn't. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably the best we've seen him in a while.
Yeah.
No, the best we've ever seen him.
I wouldn't go that far, but I think he's looked really, really well. Like he hasn't been, I don't know, struggling out there. So Tannehill, speaking of struggling, 266 yards, 2 touchdowns. I feel like he was not having a great day out there.
I did watch the kind of basically like midway through the fourth quarter because I turned off Chiefs and Cardinals, which we'll talk about. We'll talk about that game. But I think it's just getting used to the changes now.
Yeah.
I mean, it just not having AJ Brown kind of stinks, but it was getting used to Robert Woods. My lone bright spot is Kyle Phillips. That has me
yes,
excited.
Kyle Phillips looks so. He won. He almost won them the game.
Yeah, he almost did. He almost willed them.
Minus Tennessee missing the kick, which was.
Yeah, I have a question for y'all though. What the crap happened to Robert Woods? What happened to him?
Derrick Henry.
He's the only option.
No, Derrick Henry still got 21 touches and 82 yards. That's pretty good. He never got in the end zone.
I'm worried.
But that's pretty good.
I'm worried about him.
So here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Maybe they're just ramping up Derrick Henry, just getting used to things. I think that's kind of my theme of week one is that a lot of people were knocking off rust and just like kind of getting into the swing of things. Regardless of that, though,
Kyle Phillips, number one wide receiver.
I mean, here's the thing. I think Kyle Phillips is open for the most part because they focused on Robert Woods because Robert Woods is the only entrenched guy there. I think Robert Woods would have been a whole lot better had A.J. Brown been there. But the fact that now Robert Woods is wide receiver one means that everyone's keying on him. And he doesn't have a McVay to scheme him open.
Yeah. That's
now,
fair.
Another, I like to just point out like I don't know if I want to call him a sleeper or not, but Dontrell Hilliard.
Please don't say Dontrell Hilliard.
Hilliard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
he didn't really get a whole lot of work, but he vultured 2 touchdowns.
I think it's a fluke. Yeah, I think it's just a fluke.
I think it's a fluke.
Right place, right time.
Yeah, because the thing is, if you were to say Derrick Henry, 23 carries, 83 yards, and 2 touchdowns, you'd be happy.
Yeah. And I think
they were receiving touchdowns, but
he vultured those receiving touchdowns from him. But just like who was it? Jamal Williams?
Yes.
Oh
my gosh.
For the Lions. Took 2 touchdowns.
But that's what he did in Green Bay.
Yeah, that's what he did in Green Bay too when he was there.
He did that to Aaron Jones.
He was perfect. He was perfect at doing that. But it was just very frustrating to see both Swift and Derrick Henry being robbed. Being robbed fantasy wise. It was just frustrating.
Fantasy wise it's frustrating. As a person, I love Jamal Williams, but go ahead, Josh.
Yeah.
No, he's a good guy.
Yeah, I was literally just like, I'm not worried. I think there's just so many changes on Tennessee that we kind of have to take notice of it. And you have to understand that there is a transitory period of, we got to get used to things again.
Yeah.
And it was not like
AJ Brown, we shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. But even then, like, I mean, Traylon Burks is still kind of a question mark. I don't even know his stats for the game.
He played okay.
But I mean, he's getting used to game action. Kyle Phillips is one that it's like that's a great bright spot. They used Okonkwo way more than I thought they would.
Yeah.
So now I just think it
just justifies our hype for him on our big board.
Yep. We were so right about that. And Kyle Phillips, high five
quick,
everybody.
Quick clap for us. Yeah, good job.
Yeah, you know
boys.
what?
Quick
Clap,
little
yeah.
golf clap. Golf clap.
Yeah, golf clap. Because we were so right about that, and I am proud of us.
Yeah.
And if you didn't see it, go watch our big board episode. Quick plug.
Go watch our big board.
Don't listen to the Christian Watson stuff. We bought a little bit too much into the hype, and we'll get into that here in a bit. But
although he
he
almost got a wide open touchdown.
Yeah, like 70-yard touchdown, and then he dropped it, which
and
was my concern with him. And
And
you guys like, he doesn't have a problem
there.
dropping footballs. Yeah,
I never denied that. I never denied that. I said
it was
we
fixable.
heard the same. I know, but I said we heard the same thing about Jamar Chase last off season.
Well, okay, did Christian Watson look like Jamar Chase to you? Did he look like Jamar Chase to you,
dude? Okay,
I just knew there was. This is something that we mentioned in our actual, literally our news and injury video. I said you kind of have to understand with Christian Watson that there is a huge hiccup within his development because he had to deal with COVID and miss an entire year of playing for the 2020 season. Yeah. So you have to understand that he's going to be he may be like a senior or he may be older than you think, but he's way behind when it comes in learning fine tuning the details of being a wide receiver. So it stinks that it stinks that you're gonna watch it him kind of going through those growing pains. I still think though if everything clicks and everything goes smoothly, he's going to be a force.
For sure.
But we'll get to go. Ryan, what's our next?
A lot of development. All right, 3 more left, guys. Chiefs 44 and Cardinals 21.
This game was my god.
Mahomes was absolutely on fire.
Mahomes went nuclear. Arizona sucks. Yeah. But actually, that's too much. That's too much.
Is legit.
Yeah.
You said who?
Isaiah Pacheco's legit.
Yeah,
Isaiah Pacheco.
Okay, yeah, but he got a lot of garbage time.
And Hilaire. We need to talk about Hilaire.
Okay, but
I don't like CEH. I don't want to talk about him.
CEH, we all know he's good. It's just about whether or not he can stay healthy.
Yeah, so that's the big key is if he could stay healthy. Kelsey's still option 1. Sky Moore is impressing me though.
Holy cow.
Yeah, no, I kind of Ryan, I hate to admit this. I think I stole Kelsey from your dad.
You did. Just like your wife stole Cook from me.
Oh,
that stinking Burrow trade. For those of you who have not been keeping up with our podcast, I traded Dalvin Cook for Joe Burrow. This was right after the end of last season. Carson. Yeah, Chris Carson. Thinking, cool, yeah, he's going to be great this year. Or at least he's going to be all right. I'd settle for that. Didn't even get him. 2 months later, he retired. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I just traded. So we pretty much, it was Dalvin Cook for Joe Burrow. And I'm like, oh, God. Why?
Yeah, you just got to get bent on that one, buddy.
I got shafted. And I got shafted. But it's all right. I'll let
but I will tell you, because I watched most of the game.
Mm-hmm.
This game wasn't close, at all.
No.
So the issue, Kyler and Hollywood.
Juju's surprisingly good too.
Yeah, Juju's surprisingly
before you
good.
go on Arizona, Juju's surprisingly good. But go ahead on your Arizona tangent.
One more thing about the Chiefs. They were so methodical, and I realize what they're doing.
Their scheme is just light years.
Yeah, a lot of the routes they gave Tyreek Hill, they're diversifying it to other people. So now you don't really know who's going to run what. And I wonder if that was kind of their weakness in years past, because they just had freak athletes at the position.
Andy Reid is finally figuring it out and going, okay, we're going to do this now.
He put down the cheeseburger.
Yeah, so that's where I was like, that is very interesting. It was so methodical. Mahomes was on fire. Yeah. Now, James Conner was meh. But I think Kyler
it's kind of what we talked about. Hey, we don't think he's going to do it again.
Zach Ertz legit.
Zach
red
Ertz
zone
was
threat.
good.
I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah.
We were just hearing pitch count, snap count. Actually,
Yeah.
that's what we were like. Oh,
But
okay.
But I mean,
Yeah,
2
but that
catches,
was due to his
14
injury.
yards. Yeah.
2
catches,
A
14
touchdown
yards, and
and
a
a
touchdown.
two-point
That
conversion.
was great.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you, Ethan. Isaiah Pacheco. Keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on him because he may.
Like, I know it's garbage time, but he's going up
in,
against ones and embarrassing.
Yeah. If CEH goes up
gets
hurt or gets into the doghouse, I think Pacheco's next on deck. So
touchdown, Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Ooh.
From Brady, right?
Yeah, from Brady.
Yep.
That was a one-handed catch too. That was nice. All right.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the next one.
Yeah, there is
where we've got Raiders 19 versus Chargers 24. I was expecting the Chargers to score a lot more than this. Actually, I was expecting for both of them.
I don't know. Vegas has a good defense. It was kind of a defensive trade fest, you know?
Yeah. Mike Evans touchdown. Great.
Yeah. But
yeah, you're playing Ashley right now. Yikes. Sorry, buddy.
Yikes. But I will just say, Devontae Adams, pretty good. I still kind of need to see who else scored. I know there's 3 picks from Derek Carr, so I kind of want to know how that ended up.
Yeah, let me get over to it.
But I do want to say, Devontae Adams. Adams. I love it. I love seeing his connection with Carr.
I'm happy. I'm happy. Like
I love it.
I saw the stat.
He's everything that Antonio Brown wasn't. Like that's the only way I compare it. Like he's everything that Antonio Brown wasn't for this team, and I love that for them.
Ethan, you're 100% correct on that.
Yep. I love the way they
and Jacobs, bro. Jacobs was so good. I'm so frustrated at this organization for how they're treating Jacobs because he's such a good player. And
how they treated Jacobs his entire career.
Game.
Yeah. Okay, can I throw an idea out there?
Do it.
We've been thinking about it might be Madison that gets traded first as a running back. How much stock do you need to put into Jacobs? Because I can see Sean McVay going, "Give me Josh Jacobs."
Yeah. That's good betting.
That's a possibility. That's a possibility.
That's a big brain move.
Yeah. That would be honestly because he's in the last year of his deal too.
Did that.
Yeah.
Dude, if McVay did that, that would be nuts.
That's a definite possibility. I think there's weight to that. Waller.
How did he do? Because
look at Waller.
He didn't do bad. 6 targets,
79.
4 receptions. Yeah, 79 yards, long of 31.
So it's not bad. He did not do bad.
Yeah,
I was expecting.
I think it's still there.
Less.
Yeah, it's still there. I think he's just getting older.
Well,
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say because he really didn't have a training camp. That's kind of the big deal. I was thinking, and man, Hunter Renfrow basically was non-existent.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think what I brought up in the off season is going to happen. I think he's going to kind of fade off a little bit. Definitely not have what he had last year. I think Devontae Adams is going to be taking
which is what I was worried about.
Majority.
Yeah, I think it's. I'm surprised at Waller's stat line, to be quite honest with you, because I thought it would be flipped based on how training camp went. Yeah. But literally, it was spread out. I'm looking at it. Renfrow caught a catch, Bolden, Jacobs, Hollins, and then Jacob Johnson out of nowhere. And
kind of flipping script, speaking of fading out, dude, Mike Williams.
Yeah, I called it last year, dude.
I'm thinking panic button on that one. I'm kind of glad I traded him.
When you guys were, because you guys called out that he is
he was just so dominant.
The solid number 2. He was dominant last year, but if you look at his track record, all the previous years, he struggled so hard when he was behind someone. I just did not believe in him, and it didn't work out. It's week 1, so I'm not going to say it didn't work out, but I just don't see him being a solid number 2 behind Keenan Allen. I think he was a good supporting wide receiver, but I don't think he can do what he did last year again.
I
I
think he
don't think
just
he
went
can repeat.
nuclear because it just wasn't expected. And then what they kind of keyed on with the Chargers was the fact that it's like, oh, hey, if he's one-on-one backside, they're going to Mike Williams.
Yeah.
And so I guess the issue is, all right, what do you do now? Gerald Everett was way more involved. Eckler had his targets, and DeAndre Carter is kind of the 3 for 64 is kind of weird. But I'm even looking at rushing and how diversified it was too. Yeah. So they're really spreading it out. Like now, Sony Michel had 7 carries for 12 yards, impeccable stats. Yeah. Eckler had 14 for 36, so it wasn't like it was anything better. But
Josh Kelly really wasn't that good. Like the stats make him look like he had a good game, but I watched a lot of this and I was not impressed with Joshua Kelly. I'm going to be honest with you.
I just think I wonder if they just took their time because they knew they were up the entire game, especially with the. So maybe they're slowing it down, which is something we talked about.
Yeah, I think they may have been giving Eckler rest because I know like the past couple of seasons he's had a couple of injuries, not big injuries, but I think they use him as a workhorse. He still got 30
points.
I know, but they use him as a workhorse back. They ride him hard on that offense.
Yeah.
So I think they may just have seen the daylight at the end of the tunnel for that game, and we're like, okay, we're gonna let we're gonna start.
We're not gonna kill our
running back.
He's got 30 fantasy points. He's good.
Can I pose a question to you guys about that? Yeah. Because we've said that for at least half of the games that it's like, you know what, maybe they're just not using them as much or not force feeding it. Maybe they're just trying to do this whole ramp up thing. Maybe do we need to kind of retune our expectations of players, especially being force fed? Because right now there's only a few. I mean, Devontae Adams definitely getting force fed, Jefferson getting force fed, Cooper Kupp getting force fed, Chase getting force fed. But that list is getting smaller and smaller. Like, even Derrick Henry only had 21 carries.
Yep. Well, see, I think what's going on in this league right now, they're having longevity issues. Think Derrick Henry, CMC. They are both last season and the season before were rode hard.
Yeah.
And now, you're seeing them come back, like with Dontrell Hilliard. You're not seeing Derrick Henry taking any passing downs.
Yeah, it's almost like depth is the name of the game now. And I mean, we've talked about, like, especially like between fantasy football and actual football, it's like depth is the big concern. But I really feel like it's true after week 1. And maybe it's just because it is week 1. Well, I just find it to be so shocking, I guess.
All right, would be the thing. Let's not get caught up. We have one left. We have one left.
We've
made it.
My favorite.
Yep. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah.
Vikings versus Packers. My guys.
Skull.
Skull. I am so glad. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find my notes. There we go. Packers 7 versus Vikings 23. The Vikings dominated this game the whole way.
Interception and 4 sacks.
Bottled up Aaron Rodgers like nobody's business.
Okay, can I talk about Aaron Rodgers really quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, I feel like his toxicity is bleeding into these young guys, and that's what's going to hold Green Bay back. Because he's taking too long to make decisions, which is getting him sacked. And the reason why I feel like he's taking so long is just because he doesn't trust them. And then when he's off, they're bad-mouthing about, they just need to catch the ball. And, like, what kind of confidence is that instilling in his team?
Yeah.
I think, I mean, let me play kind of devil's advocate, if I may. I just think it's a learning curve of going, oh, this is what it feels like to not have the best wide receiver in the league right now.
Yeah.
And to which Aaron Rodgers has done it before. To be perfectly honest, he probably did it with a worse coaching staff and a kind of worse set of receivers at a point. but I do think that team is going to ride or die based on the wide receiver position. I think they need Dobbs to take off. I think they need Watson to produce.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessarily Aaron Rodgers, not like toxicity bleeding through, but it almost feels like a desperation out of the coaching staff.
Yeah.
To like, hey, this needs to work.
AJ Dillon was their top receiver.
Well, and their top rusher.
What happened to Aaron Jones?
Aaron Jones got 5 for 49 and 3 catches for 27. AJ Dillon got 10 carries for 45 and a touchdown, and 5 catches for 46.
So I think what may have to happen, and just
hearing
the stats, and again, I take this with full disclosure, I have not watched the game yet, so I do want to actually dive deep into what happened there, but they really do have to start manufacturing 10 plus touches for Dillon and Aaron Jones.
Yeah,
I think that's what's going to be the game plan until you can depend on Watson and Dobbs.
Yep.
So
they need to lean on where their skills
I think
are.
that's all that needs to be said for Green Bay, Ryan.
Let's talk about the fun team.
I'll let you go on your Vikings team.
Yeah. Okay. I am so excited to see this new life in the Vikings team, not only in our offense, but in our defense too. I think stuffing Aaron Rodgers and putting him in his place
and his stupid face
is what this Vikings defense needed to see. And it was, I just had a smile on my face the entire game, especially watching our young wide receiver just go ham on this Packers.
He exposed himself on national TV. It was a joy to watch.
And he has been stating all off season, all preseason, he is the number one. And I think that if Kirk Cousins holds up his end of the bargain and doesn't,
he was going to be wide receiver 1 too,
but holds up this end of his end of the bargain and keeps feeding him, I think he will end up being last season's Cooper Kupp. Maybe not like points,
triple crown.
Yeah, maybe not as many points.
Something really quick,
but definitely. What?
Can I talk about something really quick too with this offense? It just seemed like the adjustment to KOC is the biggest success for this entire team, because they've made that transition from 12 personnel to 11 personnel, which is why they're seeing so much more success with Jefferson, because they can scheme him open.
Exactly.
Yeah, especially having 2 more receivers there. And like the big thing that we were thinking is like, the zone rushing and with Dalvin Cook is great, but I'm also not going to sit here and say, like, I watched Dalvin Cook at Florida State. Like, they were running it with like 11 personnel, sometimes 12 personnel, but like he can do it. But
he was still good. I mean, 20 for 94.5 average. Like, Dalvin didn't take a hit from 11 personnel.
I'll say Madison just as well. 8 carries, 36, 4.5 as well. But Jefferson, you're finally seeing it's like, okay, we have our star receiver. Let's just like hyper target him and see what happens. It's literally McVay, like KOC. What is the best thing that's going to happen to them? But this is also
I agree.
Watching what the Bengals are doing and then watching what the Vikings are doing. It's a tale of 2 stories. You are watching one receiver transcend their system, and then the other one is meshing good scheming and play calling with a great talent, and now that's what you're getting.
Yep. And I am loving so far. I am loving KOC.
Dangerous.
I am loving KOC, and I think if we keep this up, I think we're a lock for the division.
Yeah.
So
I think the division is Minnesota's to lose.
As of right, I will say so too. I think Lions will put up a fight. They just are just too young at the moment. And then the Bears are still kind of in a disarray.
Yeah.
And then the Packers, I think, losing Devontae when they're an offense that can't really make mistakes and have the firepower to push back
Yeah.
is going to be crippling.
Yeah.
But we made it. That's our review. We did it.
That's
That
our
is
review.
our review. That is our review. Please, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel. Follow us on all of our social media pages: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Last Place FP. Just let us know, message us, comment on this post or on this YouTube video. Any questions that you have for your lineups for, this upcoming week. We will be having our preview come out on Thursday, right before the game. So be sure to comment on that, and we'll try to get it to you as soon as possible.
I do want to say one thing, and this is for all of our listeners here. Guys, a lot of times week 1 is your now or never week when it comes to waivers.
Yeah.
So put in your bids as soon as possible to get certain players. Like Elijah Mitchell's a perfect example of last year. Yeah. So, and there's probably going to be a few people that you don't expect to be on waivers, but are. Now's your chance. And and so, like, pull the trigger now because you may not get a chance later on.
Yep, for sure.
Do it.
All right. Well, that's it for us, guys.
Yeah. Thank you again for
Sometimes
everyone.
you're right and sometimes you're right.
Yes.
Have to
Thank
squeeze
you,
it
everyone. We will see you guys next week for week 2. Again, our preview comes out on Thursday, so just be watching. I'll be posting on Facebook about it when it comes up.
Yep.
So for now,
and you'll be hearing
you guys next
about
week.
what happened in our league too.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's just say I took down the champ. That's all that has to be said.
All right. You can go ahead and stop the recording.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
So loud.